Right, so it's a new year, but Suella Braverman, our dreaming of deportation flights home secretary, is still singing from the same old racist hymn sheet as she once more looks to find new ways to make life a misery for refugees and migrants, and this time she's targeting kids. I say kids. Most rational people would say kids, but Braverman is questioning how many of these kids really are kids and not just diminuitive adults trying to pass themselves off as children. In order to check to see if they really are children, as they might claim to be on those asylum applications, Braverman would like to bring in legislation that would have all kids either x-rayed, given a CT scan, or given an MRI scan. A panel is currently deciding which would be the best option in order to ascertain their age. Now, the Home Office refuses to state how many people this might affect, but 45,000 people arrived by small boat last year, and many of them were young people. It's to get all those young men who keep coming here to steal our jobs and our housing and our women, the civilized lunary commentariat might say. And it's certainly that kind of demographic Braverman is listening to. They are, after all, the ERG voter base, complete with Daily Mail, red face, and sweating like a fishmonger's window. Thankfully, common sense is prevailing in response to this, because whether they want an MRI or a CT scan or an X-ray, it is medical radiographers who would have to do it. And the Society of Radiographers is not impressed by this whatsoever. For a start, we already have a waiting list in the NHS of some 7 million people, some of whom will be waiting for one of these scans, which are often done by appointment. Not always, of course, but anyone waiting for such a scan of some description, getting pushed back down the line because Braverman is prioritising scanning some migrant child to appease her own petty racism, frankly, and that of her base. The president of the Society of Radiographers has recommended that his members, our radiographers in our hospitals, boycott this ridiculous idea, not only on the grounds of ethics and medical risk, not only because the service is under a great deal of strain right now, but because they shouldn't be placed in such a position. And as their rules of employment state, they are all autonomous medical professionals. Under no circumstances could they be forced to carry these procedures out. These procedures could involve radiation and should never be given without there being a beneficial medical requirement. Each time an X-ray, for example, is ordered, that risk must be weighed up for each and every patient. It's not like people go in and ask for them and they get told, yes, of course, please come here. Let me blast you with radiation for no fit purpose. Well, until Braverman, that is, she's now planning to make it law. If you've ever been in with a kid to have an X-ray, as I have on numerous occasions, you'll have worn the lead apron. You'll have had to stand behind the lead-lined screen or leave the room. That's to protect you from accidental exposure. Fleeing a war zone should not require you to go through that as well, except on medical grounds. Now, I mentioned waiting lists before. There are currently 184,000 people waiting for just one such medical diagnostic test. And the waiting list is of at least 3 months on average. That includes all of these scans, MRIs, CT scans, and X-rays, and these diagnostic imaging services which are being brought close to failure, according to the Society of Radiographers. The last thing our NHS needs is to be put under even more pressure acquiescing to more Tory racism. And how much will all this cost? The cost of an MRI to the NHS is around £130. A full body CT scan is £650. A chest X-ray is around £25. But of course the costs add up, and they do vary depending on the extent of the imaging required. Who will pay for all this? Well, we will, of course. Any complications arising from them being done? Well, we'll have to pay for that as well, won't we? Look, if you've fled across the world and you've risked your life getting in a small boat to cross water that, if you fall in, will kill you, to travel to a strange country in the hope there will be salvation on the other side, you've got to be pretty desperate. Anyone saying otherwise can get in the bin. It will have been terrifying, exhausting, stressful. You will be anxious. Your mental health will be at the end of its tether. And that's if you're an adult. As a kid, this is an absolutely terrifying prospect. And this entire issue is one of safeguarding too. But instead of the government being the ones guarding these kids, it'll be others like the Society of Radiographers taking responsibility of that against the government by boycotting this racist filth of a legislative proposal. I hope even the private sector will balk at the idea of doing this, but I fear they won't. And if the government were to use them instead, you can expect the cost of the public purse to be a heck of a lot higher. This cannot be permitted to be made law. Braverman is an utter disgrace. He should never have been allowed anywhere near a ministerial post with views so offensively right-wing and racist as hers evidently are.